In this video, we're going to be talking about the shared security responsibility model, or which parts of your application security you're responsible for, and which parts AWS is responsible for. Now, we'll get into detail in just a moment, but as a very easy to remember rule, just remember that AWS is going to be responsible for the security of your cloud, and you're responsible for the security in your cloud. So let's take a look at what kind of things you'll be responsible for in your AWS account. So the first is IAM, or Identity and Access Management, and that means you'll be responsible for the configuration of the different rules and constrictions placed upon services and users in your account. In other words, you'll be responsible for who's allowed to do what. You're also going to be responsible for security groups, which are firewall rules that you're able to place on, among other things, your EC2 instances. And that means you're in control of who has access to your instances and from what ports and what IP ranges. Next is VPC, or Virtual Private Cloud Configuration. So in the very likely event that you find yourself working in a virtual private cloud, then it's going to be your responsibility to make sure that those are configured exactly to your needs. Some other examples are MFA, or multi-factor authentication, and key and credential rotation. So making sure that all of your users are using MFA, and that all of your passwords, SSH keys, and credentials are being rotated is on your end of the responsibility as well. And finally, there's operating system and security patches. So with a few exceptions, namely Lambda, which once again is a managed service that you don't have to configure, you're going to be responsible for operating system patches and security patches. Now, that's a high-level overview of what you're going to be responsible for, so let's talk about what AWS is going to manage for you. And it's a lot more of the physical side of things. So as far as your physical servers go, where your virtual machines are hosted, then AWS is going to manage the security of those, the decommissioning of those, and the isolation of those servers. They're also going to manage DDoS mitigation for you, and anything to do with physical or personnel or facility security, AWS is going to handle as well. And that's it for AWS's shared security responsibility model. If all of that makes sense, then feel free to move on, and we'll go to our first guided quiz.